What kind of dog poop did Luo Hong step on to have such great luck? Little tofu pudding that he picked up by chance. Not only is the person good-looking, she also has excellent cooking skills, truly impeccable in appearance, aroma, and taste. Luo Hong glanced at little tofu pudding for a moment before speaking.
What is your name?
The lady boss was surprised and asked.
Just asking for a name.
A sense of unexplained disappointment rose in her heart. However, she still coyly said,
Master, we rural folks usually don't have fancy names. They all just call me Chunny.
As her voice was rather soft, Luo Hong couldn't hear her clearly. He asked in surprise,
Are you called Chunli?
Chunny blushed and shouted loudly, disregarding her image.
It's Chunny.
Luo Hong scratched his cheek and said,
Naming someone like this is so unrefined. How old are you?
Chunny lowered her head slightly and said,
Young master, I am 15 years old this year.
After speaking, she felt a chill in her heart. He asked,
Why are you asking these questions? What does he really want to do?
Luo Hong did not notice her strangeness. It turned out that she was 3 years younger than this young master. In that case, I'll call you Little Tofu Pudding from now on. The kitchen in our mansion is currently short-staffed. You will be responsible for the food at Luo Mansion from now on. Little Tofu Pudding became flustered at the words, and was about to say something. Just then, Luo Hong said lightly,
That's enough for now. You can go prepare lunch.
Little Tofu Pudding's face immediately darkened. He was acting on his own again. But what else could she say at this point? She could only go along with the maidservant resignedly. But just as she reached the door and turned back, Luo Hong spoke up again.
When you are ready, let's have a meal together.
Very soon, Little Tofu Pudding was taken to the kitchen. Soon, rhythmic chopping sounds could also be heard from inside. The people in the kitchen were also stunned. Is this girl a new chef who just arrived at the house today? Her knife skills are so clean and neat. Little Tofu Pudding surprised everyone by tossing 3 peeled potatoes into the air. Then her eyes flashed. Instantly, several flashes of knife light appeared. At the next moment, the potatoes were neatly cut in half and fell into the bowl. The chefs once again refreshed their perspectives. Next is the time for a talent show. Under the various operations of Little Tofu Pudding, she brought a great shock to everyone, as if there were no dishes that Little Tofu Pudding couldn't cook in this world. After a while, the cook finally spoke up and said,
That Miss Little Tofu Pudding?
Little Tofu Pudding looked back at her in confusion and asked,
What's wrong?
The chef said,
It's nothing. It's just that we are surprised to see such a young lady like you having such great culinary skills.
Little Tofu Pudding smiled mischievously and said,
Perhaps it's because I've been cooking since I was young.
So, as time went on, your cooking skills improved.
The kitchen lady exclaimed in admiration.
I never expected that, Little Tofu Pudding. Not only are you good with a knife, but your skill in stirring is also so proficient. However, how do you manage to wield that iron pot with such delicate arms? Little Tofu Pudding replied,
I guess practice makes perfect.
The chef smiled contentedly and said,
Let me handle this dish. You have a bright future ahead.
Little Tofu Pudding shyly waved her hand.
Chubby auntie, you exaggerate. I'm not sure if the young masters will like it.
Chubby Auntie reassured as she walked.
Don't worry, girl. I never misjudge people.
Suddenly, her feet slipped. She was about to fall down in one go. But suddenly, a delicate hand reached out. She actually managed to catch Chubby Auntie steadily. The chefs on the side were also startled. Some of them even covered their faces and dared not to look. But who knew it would end up like this? Little Tofu Pudding laughed and said,
Be careful, Chubby Auntie.
Chubby Auntie nodded and quickly walked out of the kitchen to avoid further embarrassment here. On the kitchen side of Luo Mansion, a table full of dishes was brought out, fragrant and delicious. The sight made the little kid sitting aside drool. She is Luo Hong's sister, Luo Xiaoxiao. Luo Xiaoxiao looked at the table full of dishes and complained.
Why isn't Uncle Chen here yet? His only little sister is about to starve to death.
After saying that, she secretly took a bite. Her eyes widened instantly. This was the most delicious thing she had ever tasted. She couldn't help but exclaim loudly. Qin Xiantian saw the situation and said impatiently,
Miss, please don't start eating. It's impolite. The young master hasn't arrived yet.
Luo Xiaoxiao doesn't care about that. Who asked him to come so late? Little Tofu Pudding said with a smile.
It seems everyone is satisfied with the taste of these dishes.
At this time, Luo Xiaoxiao also noticed her and asked,
Sister, who are you? You look a bit unfamiliar.
Little Tofu Pudding said,
I am the new chef here. You can call me Little Tofu Pudding. It's a name given to me by the young master.
Luo Xishu's eyes lit up.
New chef? No wonder the food is so delicious. Big sister, you are amazing.
Then Xiaoxiao will introduce you. My name is Luo Xiaoxiao, the only younger sister of my brother. I love listening to stories and eating delicious food. Then there's Uncle Chen. Apart from drinking tea, he is always scolding people. Don't worry though. As long as you don't stir up trouble, Uncle Chen generally won't spank people's bottoms. Qin Xiantian cleared his throat awkwardly and said,
I am Qin Xiantian, the steward of Luo Mansion. Miss, if you have any issues in the kitchen in the future, just come to me directly.
Little Tofu Pudding respectfully bowed upon hearing this.
I have seen Steward Qin Xiantian.
Qin Xiantian nodded and remarked,
Indeed, the young master has been a bit slow lately.
Luo Xiaoxiao complained,
My naughty brother is such a lazybones. Most likely, he forgot to eat again because he was engrossed in reading.
The crisis encountered by Luo Hong. That's really one wave subsiding and another wave rising. Even a simple family dinner can cause a commotion. While Luo Xiaoxiao was bad-mouthing her elder brother, Luo Hong walked in and happened to hear his sister's remarks about him. Luo Hong laughed and scolded.
No wonder I suddenly sneezed. It turns out you, little brat, were talking behind my back.
Compared to Luo Hong's ease and comfort, Qin Xiantian, however, stood still in the same place. Because the young master Luo Hong in front of him was completely different from the one he had seen at noon. At noon, he still had a conflicting appearance with a lingering sense of evil and a majestic countenance. On the contrary, now those evil Shachi seemed to have suddenly disappeared. Not only that, on the contrary, the pure yang qi is spreading throughout the body. What happened to the young master? It's been less than half a day. The positive and negative energies of yin and yang that should be balanced in his body. He first had an extremely abnormal state of excessive yin and deficient yang, and now it has almost directly become a pure yang state. How could the qi in the body undergo such extreme changes in a short period of time? His current righteous and imposing demeanor is no less than that of Confucianism cultivation. Is this the change in his mindset after punishing evil and promoting good today? Or is it related to his experience outside the county yesterday? Qin Xiantian took a sip of tea and stared unwaveringly at Luo Hong, his heart already in turmoil. Countless thoughts and speculations kept flashing through his mind. Which one is the real root cause? He wanted to finish the tea in one gulp. Then he fiercely smashed the teacup on the table. He then said in a deep voice,
Master Luo Hong.
Luo Hong looked at him puzzled and asked,
Uncle Chen, what's wrong with you?
Qin Xiantian poured himself a full cup of tea and then spoke.
Young master.
Actually, since you came back from outside the county this morning, I've been wanting to find an opportunity to chat with you. Just this morning when I saw Zhao Donghan bringing you back, I could tell you looked tired and exhausted. That's why I didn't ask at that time. Luo Hong's expression also turned serious. Uncle Chen, I've rested my body almost enough. Feel free to ask whatever you'd like. Luo Hong's heart also began to stir. Qin Xiantian finally was going to ask that question.
Young master, please forgive me. After all, I must be responsible for your safety until you complete your coming-of-age ceremony.
Luo Hong smiled and said,
Thank you for worrying, Uncle Chen.
After saying that, he added in his heart,
The original owner is dead, and I wonder if you are in charge of the loneliness.
Qin Xiantian then smiled and said,
As long as you understand.
Master, there is something I don't understand. Yesterday, you went on your usual official duties to collect monthly rent in Chicken Mountain Village, which is over 10 miles away from Anping County. In the past, every time you went, you would return the same day. Why didn't you come back last night? Furthermore, why were you found by Zhao Donghan this morning near the city gate covered in blood stains? And why haven't the 5 Luo Mansion bodyguards, who were accompanying you, returned as well? Are they alive or dead right now? Young master, what exactly did you experience yesterday? Luo Hong's expression darkened. Are you unable to hide it anymore? Under Chen Xuantian's attention, Luo Hong magically changed his expression because he had already prepared the answer in response to today's unexpected situation. Luo Hong recited the standard answer while Qin Xiantian listened patiently. After a long pause, Qin Xiantian spoke. Those 5 Luo Mansion bodyguards are indeed dead. And the culprit is the monster that attacked you? Luo Hong nodded.
It is true. Uncle Chen, who I barely escaped from after much difficulty, what exactly is that thing?
Qin Xiantian sighed at the words.
If I'm not mistaken, that thing is the malevolent entity causing trouble around Anping County recently.
Luo Hong pretended to be shocked.
What is a malevolent entity?
Qin Xiantian took another sip of tea.
You read all day, so it's normal not to pay attention to these.
The so-called malevolent entity is actually not a ghost or monster, but some evil cultivators who have fallen into low-level cultivation. And these evil cultivators, in order to cultivate evil arts, most of the time choose to sacrifice a large number of lives in order to gain power. This is the most direct way to obtain strength. Luo Hong listens in a daze, lost in thought. Qin Xiantian also noticed his unusual behavior. Young master, what's wrong with you? Luo Hong immediately came back to his senses upon hearing this, and quickly said,
It's nothing.
However, the shock in his heart could not cease for a long time. The monster did not expect that it was also an evil cultivator like himself. In this case, could it be that my time-traveling cheat book, the Villain's Handbook, was also left behind by that evil cultivator? But it doesn't seem like it. If it really belonged to the evil cultivator, it would most likely drain one's vitality and lead to death, rather than help with cultivation. Forget it. At least for now, this handbook is my only chance to embark on the path of cultivation and the only opportunity to become stronger. I have to make good use of it whether it's related to the malevolent entity or not. Just during Luo Hong's brainstorming session, Qin Xiantian laughed and said,
Sir, there is no need to worry too much. In fact, I believe that if it's just like this, the current situation is not the worst.
Upon hearing this, Luo Hong passed his puzzled look to Qin Xiantian. Qin Xiantian just played coy. Let's forget about it. Compared to that, young master managed to survive such a dire situation. This is more intriguing. I wonder if young master can tell me about it. Luo Hong couldn't hold back anymore for a moment. Damn it, this guy finally asked the most difficult question. When a person is facing a desperate situation, it is easy to trigger unknown potential. Luo Hong faced Qin Xuantian's aggressive questioning. The sweat on his palms started seeping out. Because the question he brought up, under normal circumstances, would have been an unsolvable problem if not for his stroke of genius. And since this problem is a deadlock without a solution, if he still wants to break through, there is only one last resort left. Luo Hong made up his mind and spoke up. Uncle Chen, to be honest, I don't know the specifics of this matter either. Qin Xiantian was taken aback when he heard this. And then he directly spit out a mouthful of tea. But he quickly restrained his emotions and asked,
You don't know either?
Luo Hong nodded and said,
Yesterday, We encountered that monster as soon as we left Chicken Mountain Village.
The bodyguards initially wanted to desperately hold back the monster to buy me some time to escape. But how could abandoning one's companions and surviving alone be the act of a noble person? Although the 5 bodyguards held off the monster for a few rounds, I still didn't manage to escape during those few seconds. Instead, I stood in front of him. For no other reason, I am known as the righteous leader, the young lord of falling blossoms. Luo Hong's words moved them all, causing each one to burst into tears. Qin Xiantian rubbed his eyes and asked,
"What happened afterwards, sir?"
Luo Hong was very satisfied with their expressions, and then continued, "No matter what, they must block me in front of the bodyguards." That monster seemed a little surprised, but it didn't spare me either. He lunged at me again. But at that moment, I felt a flash of golden light before my eyes. And then I knew nothing. The group of people were once again dumbfounded. What is this all about? Is there any difference between this and saying nothing? Qin Xiantian restrained his emotional outburst. Although the crucial information indeed amounted to saying nothing, looking at it from a different perspective. This is actually the most reasonable situation. After all, compared to abandoning or betraying the bodyguard, this child. His sacrificing himself to save his own bodyguard, this absurd act, is the most fitting for the young lord. Moreover, looking at his vibrant righteousness, isn't it the most direct expression of the justice in his heart? As for why he was able to escape this disaster, why should I delve into it? I'm really confused. Just think about it. He finished the tea in his hand. At this moment, Luo Hong was stunned. For some reason, he suddenly felt a chill. This feeling is like something bad is about to happen. Could it be evil points? Luo Hong suddenly had a toothache, and my evil points decreased again? Is the handbook tricking me again? All that I said before was just a lie. No one knows the truth. Don't you have any points yet? He fell flat on the table with a loud bang. I felt like crying but had no tears left. At this moment, a bodyguard rushed in, followed by Master Luo Hong and Steward Shen. Luo Hong turned back and glanced at him, asking,
"Why are you acting so surprised, Zhao Donghan?"
Yan Hui urgently replied,
"Master, a large number of county government office soldiers have appeared outside the mansion. Luo Mansion is now surrounded, and Chief Zhao is currently facing off with them."
Upon hearing this, the 2 men looked at each other in confusion, not knowing what had happened. Qin Xiantian pondered for a moment and said,
"Yan Hui, do they have a stated purpose for coming?"
Yan Hui clasped his hands and said,
"Return to Steward Chun. It seems like my subordinates heard the chief constable say."
They came to take Lord Luo Hong back to the yamen for questioning. Luo Hong was stunned for a moment, then nodded somewhat speechlessly. Is it Jia Sadeo's good deed? This useless little trash can only resort to sneak attacks. After saying that, he snorted coldly and stood up. Nothing can overcome the power of reasoning. I want to see what tricks he can come up with. Little Tofu Pudding worriedly said.
Master Luo Hong gave her a smile and reassured,
"Don't worry. I'll be back soon." Upon hearing this, tears welled up in Little Tofu Pudding's eyes. After all of this started because of her. Qin Xiantian comforted Little Tofu Pudding.
"You can rest assured. As the saying goes, heaven blesses the kind-hearted."
A person of justice like Master Luo Hong is bound to have good luck and turn bad situations into good ones. Luo Hong and Yan Hui walked out together without speaking a word. The more this happened, the more unsettled Yan Hui became. Is the young master's silence due to nervousness? It's understandable. After all, they are facing the entire county government office. Is Luo Hong really thinking that way? Quite the opposite. He is extremely excited at the moment. It's like finding something without searching and getting it effortlessly. Just now, he lost a wave of evil points, but unexpectedly good things are coming his way in the blink of an eye. County government office and court of judicial review? No matter who you are, I have plenty of evil deeds to do to you. Just wait for me. At this moment, the Luo mansion is already surrounded, and there's no way out. The leader of the county government office is constantly shouting loudly, asking me to repeat it. Tell Luo Hong to get out. What will you do when the sense of justice in your heart is tarnished? Zhao Donghan's choice is undoubtedly the most straightforward. Even when facing tyranny, he unhesitatingly raises his butcher's knife. Strike down to protect the justice in his heart. Facing the slander of the government officials and soldiers, Zhao Donghan gritted his teeth and said,
Shut up! What are you? How dare you call my family's young master by name?
The leader was a little annoyed.
All right, you gatekeeper. How dare you be so arrogant and delay the Court of Judicial Review Messenger's case hearing? Heads will roll for this.
Zhao Donghan sneered.
What case? I think you are just here to abuse power for personal gain and settle private vendettas, aren't you?
The leader was so angry that he seemed to be steaming, but the current situation does indeed seem to be just as he said. After all, it was Jia Sadeo who first stirred up the trouble. Zhao Donghan obviously doesn't want to miss this opportunity. Did I say something wrong to you guys? You scoundrels abuse your power just because Jia Sadeo is the son of your county magistrate, truly bringing shame to Anping County. The leader went straight for the defense. If they can't argue with you, can they still beat you up? Bring someone to take down this evildoer for me. Is Zhao Donghan still fearless? Has he become angry out of embarrassment? The leader coldly snorted.
Do you really think your young master is a righteous gentleman?
I'm not afraid to tell you that Luo Hong is suspected of colluding with malevolent entity, and is a key suspect in several nearby cases of malevolent entity village massacres. Zhao Donghan widened his eyes, filled with disbelief. The leader continued.
Luo Hong, he is nothing but a despicable hypocrite. A fake symbol of justice. He is the biggest disgrace of Anping County.
I see you people are all the same. None of you is clean. I might as well capture all of you together now. But he hasn't finished his sentence. Zhao Donghan immediately swung his knife over. The leader was taken aback but fortunately reacted quickly, otherwise his head would have moved to a new location. But at this moment, Zhao Donghan swung his knife again, and the spearheads in the hands of the soldiers directly broke. The leader was directly stunned. He really dares to take action. Isn't he afraid of death? Luo Hong was originally watching the show on the side, but unexpectedly, things took a turn in the blink of an eye. Zhao Donghan, don't get me into trouble. At this moment, Zhao Donghan has lost his mind. It's one thing to prioritize personal interests, but you also said the words I, Zhao Donghan, least want to hear. You must pay the price for this. After saying that, he raised his butcher's knife high and aimed it at the leader. Luo Hong, seeing this, also became extremely anxious. His feet unconsciously quickened their pace. At the moment the butcher's knives were about to fall, Luo Hong pulled the leader back from the brink of death. It's a good thing that Luo Hong recently mastered the evil shadow body movement technique. Otherwise, today's situation could have been different. The crowd of people also stared in amazement. They didn't even dare to breathe. Zhao Donghan asked in confusion.
Young master, why are you doing this?
He was met with a hammer blow in response. Luo Hong angrily said,
You need to calm down.
He then looked at the leader and said,
Just now, it was a lack of discipline on the part of the servant. I apologize on his behalf.
As soon as the words fell, there was an uproar all around. Luo Hong, seeing that nothing serious had happened, finally breathed a sigh of relief. He glared fiercely at the aggrieved Zhao Donghan. This guy's temper is even more explosive than mine. If I had been a step slower and let you kill that constable, wouldn't my subsequent actions at the county government office be completely ruined? But just now, the power emitted by Zhao Donghan had already surpassed that of ordinary people. Could he also be practicing cultivation? Is it martial cultivation or sword cultivation? Forget it, let him be. The most urgent matter now is to go earn evil points. Thinking of this, he immediately cupped his hands and said,
Master, after hearing the leader's words, took a few steps back. What does this gentleman want to do?
but only saw Luo Hong's excited face saying,
I heard that you are here to take me to the county government office for questioning. I wonder when we will set off.
The leader was a little confused when he heard this. What's going on with this guy? And what's the deal with his expectant expression? Could it be that this guy just saved me a moment ago? But wasn't he supposed to be a weak bookworm? Does he really have the same intentions as Giosadeo? Is he a malevolent entity with cultivation skills? But if he really is a malevolent entity, what does he look like? Is it just my imagination? At this moment, Xiao Donghan quickly advised.
Young master, you must not go. It's obvious that they are.
Before he could finish his words, Luo Hong glanced back at him and scolded.
Stop your endless chatter, or I might just kill you.
After speaking, he turned his head with a flattering expression and said,
My lord, official matters are urgent. We shouldn't delay any longer.
The leader was truly puzzled. What does he really want to do? Luo Hong still had a fawning look. Why not leave? What are you standing there for? The leader sighed at this moment. Maybe there really is some misunderstanding in this matter. At this moment, everyone in the Luo mansion was baffled. What's going on, little brother? Weren't you just threatening to arrest me aggressively earlier? Now that I'm at your doorstep, you're telling me it's a misunderstanding. Just a few bottles of wine, and you're already in this state. They say that even if you enter the government office alive, you'll still end up losing a layer of skin. But Luo Hong is not only unafraid. Instead, he is looking forward to it. But just when Luo Hong thought he would surely get his wish today. Then, the leader with a look of shame said,
Although we were informed by the county magistrate before we came that you were accused of slaughtering the village as a malevolent entity, we do not know whether this is true or false.
However, now that I see you, sir, are eager to go to the county for trial, I finally understand. At least one thing can be certain, that is the honorable reputation you have as a model of justice. If it wasn't for your heart being so upright and transparent to the extreme, who else could have done such a thing? Luo Hong wants to explain.
Big brother, you are overthinking it. I am not as good as you think.
But before he could speak up, the leader of the group suddenly knelt down with a thud, his eyes filled with tears as he said,
So, Master Luo Hong, please escape.
Luo Hong couldn't bear it any longer upon hearing this. He punched the leader and said,
Take me to the county government office. Can't you understand human language, damn it?
The crowd of constables were confused again. What's going on now? Didn't they have a good rapport just now? Why are they starting to use force again? Are they playing tricks here? Yin Hui was also in tears. The young master has laid hands on the officials and soldiers. This time, he has to go even if he doesn't want to. Anping County Magistrate's office. The plaque hanging in the main hall radiates a solemn and powerful aura. Luo Hong was quickly brought up. The leader bowed to the high official and said,
Lord Luo, the criminal Luo Hong has been brought here.
Luo Hong expressionlessly sized up the high-ranking individual. Luo Feng remained silent, only to see Jia Long snort coldly and speak. Luo Hong Court of Judicial Review Commander Luo Feng, Lord Luo is here. Why haven't you knelt down and paid your respects quickly? Luo Hong is puzzled. Court of Judicial Review Commander? Is this title very high-ranking? Luo Feng still appears indifferent, as if he cannot see or hear anything, calmly sipping his tea. At this moment, Luo Hong clasped his hands together and solemnly said,
Luo Hong pays respects to the master.
Luo Feng then cast a glance at him. But he quickly froze in place. Only Luo Hong's pure yang qi is manifested. This kid is quite interesting. If he is an ordinary person, he shouldn't have such strong pure yang qi. Could it be that he is a Confucianism cultivator? It seems that this Luo Hong is not as simple as County Magistrate Jia described. Jia Long still did not kneel down when seeing Luo Hong and pointed at him, shouting,
You dare not kneel when encountering an official? Your crime is increased by 1 level.
At this moment, Luo Feng slowly put down the teacup in his hand. He waved his hand and said,
Forget it.
Young Master Luo, you are indeed a young hero of Anping County. Luo Hong looked puzzled and pointed at himself, asking,
Are you talking about me?
Luo Feng said,
Also known as the Young Lord of Falling Blossoms. I heard that the Young Lord is usually generous and charitable, setting a great example of justice in Anping County.
Luo Hong is also going all out for those few evil points. He quickly waved his hand and said,
Unjust, absolutely unjust. It's all nonsense. I am not unjust at all.
Luo Feng was a little confused by his words.
Big brother, I was complimenting you. Why are you acting like this?
Jia Long was also confused.
Has Luo Hong lost his mind? Why is he acting like a different person?
Luo Hong had a big smile on his face. But he was already cursing in his heart. If things continue like this, my evil points won't increase. He must completely reverse his positive image. He narrowed his eyes at the thought, making Jia Sadeo feel a little uneasy. What do you want? Luo Hong rubbed his hands and smirked, saying,
Young Master Jia, we wouldn't know each other if we didn't fight. I sincerely want to be friends with you, brother.
He then slowly approached him step by step. Jia Sadeo, filled with fear, hid behind his father, Jia Long, and loudly ordered,
Quick, catch him!
Upon hearing this, a group of constables surrounded them. Just as they were about to capture Luo Hong, Luo Hong's figure flickered. He used his ultimate skill, the evil shadow body movement technique. But Luo Hong was slow to react. What's going on? I unconsciously used the evil shadow step. Is it that the body automatically uses it when it senses danger? Wouldn't that be like a form of muscle memory? The Jia father and son were taken aback by Luo Hong's martial arts skills being so formidable. That's right, otherwise how could Jia Sadeo have ended up like this? Luo Feng looked at all this, and his mouth involuntarily curved up. His cultivation level is only at the entry stage, but his footwork is quite exquisite. At this moment, Luo Hong cupped his hands and said,
Gentlemen, today I am here to apologize with sincere intentions.
During the day, I had a misunderstanding with young Master Jia at the tofu pudding stand. I have now deeply realized the seriousness of the issue. He finished speaking and then reached into his pocket to search around. Jia Long saw the situation and yelled,
Luo Hong, what are you trying to do?
But only to see Luo Hong taking out a stack of silver notes from his pocket before saying,
Sir, this is my confession of wrongdoing.
Then he handed it to Luo Feng and said,
My thoughts are all written on it.
Luo Feng was a bit puzzled. A repentance letter? But when he saw the amount on the banknote, he was stunned. For a moment, he even forgot to breathe. Have you ever seen such a sincere repentance letter? The originally tense atmosphere at the government office. The repentance letter with over 10,000 taels of silver notes taken out by Luo Hong broke it. The crowd looked at the thick stack of silver notes, forgetting to breathe for a moment. Luo Hong, seeing this, generously handed out his confession for them to review. Then he embraced the Jia father and son with both hands.
Please don't be offended. I simply wish to be friends with you. I will send generous gifts every month in the future, so please give me a chance.
At this moment, Jia Long's hands holding the silver ticket were trembling. He had never seen such a scene before, and Jia Sadeo was even more moved. He originally did not want to forgive Luo Hong, who had beaten him up, but he had given too much. It was really hard not to be moved. Luo Feng stared blankly at the repentance letter in his hand. For a moment, Luo Hong couldn't tell what he was thinking either. However, countless experiences of crossing over have told him that cash power is also a part of strength. Moreover, a wonderful plan has already taken shape in his mind. First, let these people in power become his backers, having the power as a support, and be supported by the financial resources of the Luo family, and rely on the household guards to provide physical strength for protection. He is capable of forming a clearly organized criminal group with a strong underworld nature in Anping County. By then, his evil points will be constantly increasing. Only then can I truly have the strength to counter everything. In order to achieve this plan, I, Luo Hong, must become the godfather of the entire underground world of Anping County. Everyone fell silent for a long time. At this moment, Jia Long looked at the silver note in his hand and sighed.
What a pity!
Luo Hong was puzzled and asked Lord Jia.
What a pity for what?
Jia Long turned back and glanced at him, saying,
Of course, it's a pity for you.
Luo Hong was puzzled.
What do you mean by that?
Jia Long disdainfully said.
Luo Hong, do you think you can just casually hand over 1 to 2 million taels of silver to make this matter go away?
Your Luo family has a lot of industries and strong financial resources. We have never interfered with each other. But you dare to hit my son in public. That's clearly disrespecting me. Moreover, you, Luo Hong, are a chivalrous young noble with unparalleled righteousness. Everyone in Anping County only knows you as the young lord of falling blossoms and doesn't recognize me, this old man of the Qitian. But now that Lord Luo Feng is here, I want to use his power to restore the authority of the court. Luo Hong, don't blame me for not showing mercy. I must destroy your Luo family. I must let Anping County know who their true ruler is. Luo Hong's face was full of disbelief. Are you actually teaming up to target me? Luo Feng calmly said.
It is a rule for officials to help each other, and it is also a rule for the people not to fight with officials. I can't do anything about it.
Luo Hong angrily shouted.
Do you want to kill me just because of a street fight? The Court of Judicial Review doesn't have that kind of power, right?
Luo Feng sneered and said,
Outside the city, the malevolent entity is causing chaos. Apart from you, no one from the team that went out of the city has returned. It's not excessive for me to suspect you of colluding with the malevolent entity to cause chaos, right?
Luo Hong's expression turned fierce upon hearing this. Colluding with the malevolent entity to cause chaos. Is the feudal dynasty really this dark? Why is it that I experienced such devastation from the very beginning? Luo Hong looked at them with a smug expression. It seems that these people have me exactly where they want me, and those 3 lackeys behind are also blocking my way. Jia Long casually said,
Constable Wang, take Luo Hong away.
Constable Wang nodded in response and clasped his hands in agreement. Then he took out a thick iron chain and said,
Luo Hong, you'd better come with us obediently.
Resistance won't do you any good. Luo Hong's eyes flashed, and he turned around to stare fiercely at Constable Wang. Constable Wang was stared at by Luo Hong, and a chill ran down his spine. His body uncontrollably began to tremble slightly. Luo Hong directly turned around and gave him a kick. With a bang, Constable Wang almost fell to the ground. Luo Hong turned around and looked at the Yamen runners who were coming over.
Even dogs dare to come and arrest me?
The Yamen runners drew their knives and stood ready, but their bodies involuntarily took a few steps back. Luo Hong licked his lips. His emotions also converged at this moment. He said in a deep voice,
Let's all go together.
The Yamen runners saw that Luo Hong dared to challenge him. They drew their swords and rushed forward one after another. It's just a pity that Luo Hong's mastery of the evil shadow step is really too mysterious. No matter how the Yamen executioner swings his knife, they just can't touch Luo Hong at all. Luo Hong seized the opportunity and directly kicked 2 Yamen runners out with a big windmill kick. At this point, Luo Feng could not hold back either. He drew his own sword. He watched as Luo Hong and the constables became more deeply entangled in the fight. He only waited for the moment when Luo Hong revealed a flaw, then he threw his sword at Luo Hong. The sword kept approaching Luo Hong's back. At this moment, Luo Hong, deeply entangled in battle. He actually instinctively sensed the danger. The evil shadow step automatically activated again. He stepped on the long sword with 1 foot. He then kicked the sword towards the 2 Yamen runners as he moved forward. In an instant, the sword moved like a swimming dragon, and with 2 swishes, took away 2 lives. Finally, the long sword was heavily inserted into the pillar. Luo Hong's figure also landed steadily at this moment. Luo Feng frowned unhappily as the sword unexpectedly missed Luo Hong. This made him very displeased. At this moment, Luo Hong calmly said,
"Gentlemen,
what's the point of creating such a situation?" Jia Long was scared, and his body couldn't help but tremble. Luo Feng also slowly stood up at this moment. He looked expressionless and locked eyes with Luo Hong for a moment. No one could tell what he was thinking. However, he soon smiled and said,
"Your body movement technique is very interesting. Try to continue dodging my sword."
After speaking, he raised his right hand towards his own sword, which was inserted into the pillar. The sword on the pillar suddenly started to tremble with a buzzing sound. The next moment, the sword actually flew back into Luo Feng's hand out of thin air. They say if you don't court death, you won't die. But Luo Hong not only courts death, he also insists on provoking others. If it weren't for a big shot stepping in to resolve the situation, this manga would have come to an end. Luo Feng's expression turned fierce at this moment. Luo Hong, don't you dare die before I've had my fun." Luo Hong stared at him fixedly. He began to ponder ways to break the deadlock. Just suddenly, Luo Feng disappeared. Luo Hong was first stunned, then endless danger signals rushed straight to his forehead. He rolled forward instinctively. It was at this moment that a flash of sword light passed by, cutting off a few strands of hair on his back. Luo Feng praised,
"Nice job dodging."
At this moment, sweat has soaked Luo Hong's whole body. Just now, he was saved by the passive mechanism of technique and arts. Luo Feng's body movement technique was too fast. He couldn't react in time. It's a pity that reality tells him this is just the beginning. Luo Feng's figure disappeared once again. Luo Hong desperately performing the evil shadow step. He couldn't stop. As long as he slowed down a bit, the result would be death. His goal is to rush out of the door. He watched as his chances of survival grew closer and closer, but unfortunately Luo Feng was faster than him. He pushed Luo Hong down to the ground, mercilessly shattering his escape dream. "Your technique and arts are quite mysterious. It shouldn't only involve body movement technique. Shouldn't there be a scroll as well?" Luo Hong frowned upon hearing this. Luo Feng actually noticed this as well. Luo Feng continued,
"But it doesn't matter even if it's incomplete. You write it to me, and I will ensure your safety."
Luo Hong disdainfully said,
"Do you think I'm a fool? You can kill me."
Luo Feng's mouth cracked into a smile upon hearing this.
"That works too."
After speaking, he picked up his sword and aimed it at Luo Hong. Just as he was about to strike down, an endless signal of death enveloped his whole body. His body also froze in place at that moment. The sword in his hand was only half an inch away from Luo Hong's forehead. Luo Feng looked around cautiously. The sense of danger had not yet dissipated. Such a strong energy fluctuation in Anping County. How could there be such a character? Could it be that he is from the Court of Judicial Review? Luo Feng said to the two bodyguards behind him,
"Let's go out to pay a visit."
After that, the three of them disappeared with a flicker and dashed out of the government office. They leaped onto the roof. Luo Feng flew instinctively in a certain direction. He soon landed on a roof edge. He cupped his hand and said,
"I am Commander Luo Feng from the Court of Judicial Review. May I ask what advice the senior has for coming so late at night?"
Chen Xiantian casually replied,
"I dare not offer any advice.
I'm just a steward from Luo Mansion here to take my young master home." Luo Feng broke out in a cold sweat at the mention of it. He couldn't understand why there would be such a monster in Anping County, and how it was related to Luo Hong. What's even more unbelievable is that he had nearly killed the boy himself just now. He composed himself and asked,
"Could it be that the young master of your family is Luo Hong?"
Chen Xiantian maintained a cold expression and asked,
"Why ask when you already know? My young master is upright and honest, pure-hearted as a child."
With his words spoken, countless sword chi shot towards Luo Feng. The sword chi cut a mark on his face, serving as a warning from Xianxia. At this moment, the people on the street also noticed something. They all looked up at the sky. They saw countless sword chi continuously gathering in one direction. Xianxia said coldly,
"If you want to shield the evildoers and arrest my young master, then whether it's the county government or the court of judicial review, I will seek justice for my young master."
As the words fell, those seemingly substantial sword chi kept swirling around him constantly. Luo Feng felt extremely solemn. This sword chi is so strong that it is simply like a monster. The level of this sword cultivator definitely surpasses the 5-grade sword fate, far above me. Unfortunately, he knew that this information was useless. His body was suppressed, and he couldn't move. He could only watch as the giant python condensed from sword chi attacked him. He could see himself on the verge of death. He closed his eyes and shouted,
"Senior, you have misunderstood. Please spare my life."
The next moment, the giant python stopped on his face. The seemingly substantial giant python also began to dissipate slowly at that moment. Luo Feng, with his legs weak, plopped down on the eaves. If his courage had been just a little less, he might have been scared into wetting himself. He muttered in a resentful tone,
"This guy actually intended to kill me. After all, I am an official appointed by the court."
At this moment, Xianxia suddenly appeared behind him.
"You just said it was a misunderstanding?"
3 members of the Court of Judicial Review were so frightened that they backed away in panic. Luo Feng exclaimed,
"Senior, is it you?"
Xianxia's voice remained cold as ever.
"I am not someone unreasonable. Speak up. What misunderstanding? What does it mean that when the mountain collapses, relying on the mountain will result in ruin? When people leave, relying on people will lead to abandonment." The Jia father and son explained it to us with their lives. What happened inside the yamen where Jia Sadeo shakily asked. Why did the people from the Court of Judicial Review all run away? Jia Long angrily said, "Keep your voice down. Luo Hong is still here."
At this moment, Luo Hong heard their voices and turned back calmly. "County Magistrate Jia, don't hide. Come out and let's have a chat." The Jia father and son shakily walked out after hearing the words. Luo Hong said,
"County Magistrate, can I go home and sleep now?"
The Jia father and son did not react, staring blankly at Luo Hong in a daze. Luo Hong was a bit embarrassed at this point because the ground was covered with bodies, all of which were his handiwork. Do you just want to leave after killing people? In the end, Luo Hong felt a bit guilty about it. Jia Long angrily glared at the beast Luo Hong, who rampaged in the courtroom and left without a care. It's like getting dung on the sole of your shoe and then slapping it on my face. Luo Hong saw the look of resentment on his face and asked the county magistrate,
"Do you have any objections, my lord?"
Jia Long was frightened and took a few steps back, waving his hands repeatedly.
"No, no."
Luo Hong nodded in satisfaction at the situation, and then the young master took his leave. Upon hearing this, Jia Long made a face as if he had eaten shit, but he dared not say such words as,
"Give me another gene."
After Luo Hong turned around and slowly walked towards the door. Jia Long muttered angrily in a low voice,
"What is that guy Luo Feng up to? If he doesn't come back soon, Luo Hong will be in trouble."
Jia Sadeo also muttered in a low voice,
"Is the Court of Judicial Review also so unreliable?"
In response to him, Luo Hong walked back. "By the way, Your Honor, should I leave the letter of repentance that I gave you?" Jia Long heard this and flattered by patting his chest.
"Well, Your Excellency, I keep it on me at all times."
"Master Luo Hong, what are you intending to do?" Jia Sadeo thought that this guy was being fickle and wanted to take back the banknotes. Luo Hong, on the other hand, just walked away without looking back. The father and son looked bewilderedly at the departing young master Luo of the Luo family, not understanding what he was up to. Luo Hong, on the other hand, was all smiles at the moment. This move was too cool, and at the same time, evil points were also earned like crazy. These shameless people actually joined forces to come after me, taking my money and wanting my family to be ruined. But who could have thought that I would rise above my circumstances too? I wonder which senior villain passing by took pity on my misfortunes. He actually scared away that dog Luo Feng directly. And the county magistrate refrained from taking action against me, and those bribes were also proven. In this way, with the bribery of court officials and the killing of soldiers, with these two major crimes, I wonder how this flawed system can still whitewash me. I really hit the jackpot this time. At this moment, a person walked towards Luo Hong. Luo Hong was stunned when he saw the arrival. The atmosphere around also froze at that moment, because the arrival was indeed Luo Feng. He had returned just now. Luo Feng, in order to survive, started improvising stories on the spot. Senior, I, and the Court of Judicial Review have no intention of harming the young Lord of Falling Blossoms. I am just here in Anping County on orders to investigate the case. Chen Xiantian wondered. Investigate the case? Although I didn't hear what you said in the county just now. But I still advise you all one sentence. Don't play tricks on me. Luo Feng hurriedly knelt down when he heard this and said, This humble official does not dare. I have come here this time to Anping County to truly investigate the case of the malevolent entity slaughtering villages outside the county. The reason why we have asked the young Lord of Falling Blossoms to come here is because yesterday, the malevolent entity broke out in Chicken Mountain Village, where the entire village was massacred. Even Mr. Luo Hong's personal bodyguard also died. That's why we called him here, really just to have him cooperate with the investigation. After saying that, I closed my eyes and waited for Lord Chen Xuantian's decision. Life and death were just a thought away from him. Thinking of this, my body couldn't stop trembling. Chen Xiantian pondered for a moment, which is quite reasonable. Forget it, after all, he is a person from the Court of Judicial Review. He doesn't have an excuse for killing without proper reason. At this moment, Luo Feng felt the oppressive pressure enveloping him disappeared, and his body also became lighter. Chen Xiantian said indifferently, All right, you guys continue investigating. However, I can guarantee that my son has no connection with the malevolent entity. After all, my son is a man of integrity. Luo Feng was taken aback by the words. He remembered the situation when he had just met Luo Hong, just as Chen Xiantian had said, indeed unique. He randomly echoed, Senior, you are talking about the young Lord of Falling Blossoms, the elegant and amiable Anping County's model of justice. I have also heard of this name with admiration in my heart like the flowing river. Chen Xiantian snorted coldly at the words. However, he soon laughed. It is really worthy of coming from the Court of Judicial Review. Just like you, Vice Minister, both are shameless. The Court of Judicial Review's law enforcement must be conscience-fulfilling. You represent the great Xia, so do not do shameful things and provoke ridicule from everyone. After saying that, his figure disappeared with a bang. Luo Feng finally breathed a sigh of relief, glad that he had left. Those with the sword path cultivation level are only 3 people in the Great Xia. It seems that this person is familiar with Vice Minister. Could it be the Luo families? Wait a moment. Could it be that this inconspicuous Luo mansion in the small Anping County is actually the renowned Luo family that has made a name for itself worldwide? If that is the case, then the identity of this senior in sword cultivation naturally goes without saying. And this young Lord of Falling Blossoms, isn't his identity the son of the Luo family? When you took a kid's candy and gave him a big scolding, what would you think when you suddenly find out that his dad is the leader of the underworld? Luo Feng is the unlucky guy. Who would have thought that in this remote place in the middle of nowhere, he would bully someone casually? He turns out to be the son of that man from the Empire's legend. At the thought of this, Luo Feng's body actually started trembling with fear. A colleague nearby noticed that he was not feeling well and asked with concern, Lord Luo, what's wrong? Luo Feng seemed to be oblivious to the question, still immersed in his own world. It turned out that he was still alive. The whole world thought that man's son had died, yet his son was still alive, hidden in this inconspicuous Anping County. Thinking of this, He burst into laughter abruptly. It turned out that the rumor was fake. The whole world had been deceived by them. He remembered what Xianxia had said to him earlier.
I can assure you that my young master has no connection with the malevolent entity.
Luo Feng smiled, but then his expression suddenly turned fierce. No wonder he was so confident that Luo Hong couldn't possibly be the malevolent entity. It is also not surprising that Luo Hong would shamelessly attempt to bribe us at that time. Given the relationship between the Luo family and the Vice Minister of the Court of Judicial Review, his bribery was likely in an attempt to test whether we would engage in such unethical behavior. If he discovers our wrongdoing, they will inform Vice Minister to expose our misdeeds. And afterwards, the thunderous action taken is a warning to stop us when we persist in our wrongdoings. Originally, they had already seen through everything about me. It's ridiculous that I thought Luo Hong fell into my trap, but in reality, I am the prey in that trap.